Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. Welcome to another interactive Q&A for TalentLMS. If you already have questions, you have come to the right place. But if you don't, I'm pretty sure that we will give you inspiration to start asking your questions. So let's get started because that is a webinar that you control. So we're going to do this together. First, let's meet each other. I'm Theo, I'm part of the customer enablement team, and I'll be answering your question today with Nick.
Hello, people. I'm Nick, and of course, I'm looking forward to seeing the topics you're going to pick and help you with our answers.
And you'll hear from both of us a lot more in a moment, but just to give you an outline of what you can do here. This webinar is in your own hands, so you're going to choose the topic. Every 15 minutes for the next 45 minutes, we're going to push out a poll that contains two topics, and it's your job to pick which one you would like to have questions for. Of course, I'm pretty sure that you will already have a couple of questions for TalentLMS, so don't worry, behind the scenes, we're also going to answer questions, but rest assured that the poll is here for you. It's anonymous, so feel free to express your opinion and pick the topic that you want to learn more about. And of course, we're here to answer your questions. We will focus on the questions related to the polls, but of course, we can also try and answer as many questions as possible together. So the polls are there for your inspiration. So if we're ready, Nick, should we push the first poll out? What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's see what the people are actually going to vote for.
All right, so I am just sending out the first topic. And the first topic is e-commerce or groups. So I'm going to give you a brief outline of e-commerce. In TalentLMS, you have the option to sell your courses and integrate with different platforms that being Stripe, that being PayPal. And you also have the option to create groups, which will help you to mass assign courses to users. So what are you going to pick? Is anybody here selling courses? I think most of the people are concentrating on groups. So I think we are pretty much ready to stop the poll. I have 100% participation for groups. So the public has spoken, and I'm going to pass the mic to Nick first.
100% for groups. There you go. So groups was the more popular topic here. So let me share my screen. Give me a second. And we should be able to talk about groups. Now, there is some functionality in regards to groups with the instructor feature, but of course, mainly it's the admin. So we're here. Please, you can give us whatever questions you want in regards to groups. So let me already check here to see if we have people that have already got the ball rolling. I see a question from Cynthia. And she's asking, can I get users to self-register in a group and take the courses? Oh, that's a very, very nice question, Cynthia. This is something that a lot of people don't necessarily want to do very often, just because they want to control better what you can do with your learners. But it is very, very handy, especially if you have tech-savvy learners who might actually benefit from working like that with groups. So the answer to the question, if you go into your groups, you can pick whichever group you already created, honestly. So let's say I want to go to my analyst group. And you're going to see that here I have an option for a group key. And if I click on it, the system is going to generate a group key for me. Now, this group key is unique, which means I cannot have the same group key for a couple of different groups. It's always going to be different because the system should know where to redirect. And you see the system has created a unique one, but of course you're not forced to use it. Maybe you want to call it Nick's key. There. And this now is unique again, but I can copy this for future use. Also, you can set up how many times this group key is going to be used if this is a limited use key. So if that is the case, you can put up here how many times it can be used. Otherwise, if you leave it empty, it is going to be used indefinitely. I'm going to save the group now with the key I just created. And let's actually find a user that is not here. So I don't see Abby. So let's actually illustrate how this would work. The way to sign up, to have the people self-sign up to the group, would be by providing them the group key. So let me just impersonate Abby, who is just a normal learner, as you see, nothing special about her. So let's say I was actually Abby, and my administrator sent me an email which would contain this group key, and they instructed me to self-sign up into the group. What steps should I take? Very easy. I just click on join group, and then I copy paste the key I've been given from the email. There you go. And then I click again on join group. And as you see, she already joined the group analysts. Can we double check? Absolutely. We return back to actually being ourselves, the administration. And if we look at the group, we're going to see that in the analysts group, now in the user section of it, we have Abby. And because Abby joined with this group key, she already picked up and is registered to all the courses of the group. So I don't need to go manually and synchronize her like that. So keep in mind, it's a very easy way. All you people have to do is copy paste the code that you provide them, the group key, and basically insert that. 2 clicks, 1 copy paste, and then they can join the group. And also they will automatically pick up all the courses that pertain to that. Now, let me see more questions here. Sort of the same question. So it's a question from Steve. And Steve is saying, I want to set up a group called admin, and the group can see reports showing the progress of the group members, but no others. Should these people be instructors? Nice question. Now, this is how I would do it, Stephen. You don't necessarily have to follow my method, but generally my line of thinking is when I want to give people permissions to access reports, do I really want to give them more power than what they need? So what I would actually do instead of that would be this. Let's say I have a person that needs to get a group report, right? I could go into my reports, grab a group report from here, and let's say I wanted a report on the analyst group that we've just been talking about. So I can go into here, that's my analyst group, and of course I can see more specifics, my users, how many courses are assigned, and when people last logged in, what progress do they have in regards to their courses and everything. So if I want to report on that, why actually promote somebody to an admin to get this information when I can do this? Click next to export and click on schedule. And now I can tell my system, you know what, send them a weekly report every Monday or maybe every Friday. I'll add the custom recipients here and put the email of the person I want to send the report to. And actually this is a lot easier. They will just receive the report and you don't need to give them any additional permissions. It's going to be handled like that. So this is how I would set it up. You create the group, but then you don't give any additional permissions to the people to get the reports. You just schedule them to go directly to them. So I hope this actually makes sense. I see a question from Richard as well. Sort of the same question. I guess it kind of refers to what I was already showing before, right? If we make members electronically from another platform, can they be given a group at this point? It's okay. It is in regards to groups, so don't feel bad. But just to let you know, the idea is that the group key does not equate signing up a user to the platform. So these people would already have to be included in TalentLMS, and when they are included, you can just send them an email with a group key, and they can use that in order to actually get to the group that they are supposed to be in. So yes, it would work, but don't assume that just giving them the group key is something that would actually invite them in TalentLMS. These are two separate things. As long as you have them in the platform, sure, you can do it, but you must actually direct people that they have an account to be able to join the group. I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, by all means, you can follow up and I'll be happy to clarify further. So I see a question from Brandy as well. So can you enroll users in groups? You can enroll users in groups. So essentially, you have your groups, and you, of course, the reason you're having the groups is that you use them in order to add people in this group and give them courses. Essentially, when we talk about groups, we're talking about the tool that you want to leverage when you want to give a lot of common courses to a lot of people. That's a group. So you could create your own group, or as you mentioned in your follow-up, you can edit an already existing one, absolutely. And let's say I had already this. So I could be in here and I could go to my users, add a new person, absolutely. As long as they're in my system, I could search with their mail and just add them here, and they would be a member of the group. That's all I have to do. Once they are added, make sure that if you want, you can actually give them all of the courses that you have to as them being part of the actual group. So for example, the person I just added is 1 out of 6 courses. I just click on the little plus, and now they pick up all of the courses. So this is how it works. I don't see any more questions for groups. So maybe, Theo, we're ready to move to our next topic.
Yes, actually, we had great questions for groups. Some of them were answered with Nick, some of them were answered from me behind the scenes. So now let me push the next poll out. And Nick, get ready because you're going to go on chat. So let me just push the second topic. So, what would you like to see? Would you like to see white labeling? So we can change the way that TalentLMS looks and the way that you can match TalentLMS, its homepage, its theme, and lots of other functions to your own styling and brand needs? Or would you like to see user sign-up methods? And of course, user sign-up is not just how you add a user. That's one fraction of it. There's lots of different ways that you can add users to TalentLMS, or users can sign up themselves on TalentLMS. It's a tough call here. I can see white labeling slightly coming first, and user sign-up methods slightly coming afterwards. Nick, what do you think? What's your prediction?
Honestly, I think depends on our audience. I think I would prefer white labeling, but I think you're covering this topic, right? So I think probably white labeling might win. Don't know.
Well, seems like you're guessing correct. So I'm gonna end the poll right now and share the results with everybody. So now you should see on the screen who the winner is. White labeling it is. So until you start typing your questions, let me just share a question that we got recently in one of our latest webinars, and that is a question that I'm pretty sure many of you might also come to ask. So, can I use the company's registered colors in my portal? We'll find out right now. I'm going to share my screen right here, and I hope you can see my portal on the spot. Right. So how can somebody match the colors of their portal with the colors of their brand, the colors of their web page? So the quickest way is to adjust the theme. So if you can see my screen right there, we can just go to account and settings, and from there we can do themes. And you see here that you have the colors that you could always use. Now, let's say that your brand color is red and it has a specific format. The colors come in format of hex colors. We call them hex, and this is by numbers that are assigned to each color. Your marketing team pretty much is the one who will give you the color codes for your branded colors. So if we say that we're going to use that specific type of red, you see, I just set it right there, and my bar up there became red. Same thing I can do with my box border here, and I can make this red as well. And you see, that changed a lot. So you have the option to create multiple themes. I can add, for example, just another one for one of my vendors, for instance, and you can immediately see that I can set it as an active, update, or save as new, give it a name, and use it in my branches as well. So it's fully customizable, and you can really reflect your branding to TalentLMS. So let's see there the questions. So there is a question about polls as well, and that is the fact that somebody cannot see the polls. James, let me see if next time it happens in the third poll that we're going to push out. But otherwise, that is something that we can definitely look internally. I have marked your question as well, and I will get back to you. Now, I have a question from Mary about the customization. So Mary is asking, can I change the default reset password email to include our help desk email? So Mary, you're correct because customization is not only how the colors look, it's also how the default emails look, how your notifications that are sent from the system when you reset your password, for instance. So let me show you how to do it. If we go to Events Engine right here, where the notifications are, if you click on the little arrow there to customize system notifications, you can select and you can go to the reset password and you can click on the corner and expand and say at the end, need help, speak with our tech support at IT at your company, obviously .com or any email that you have for your designated help desk in the company. And then just save. And if I just update my notification now, I can, of course, go ahead and add my preview button here. So you can select which notification you want, the reset password in this case, and I can add my email. And of course, you can add your own email, right? And send it right there. So what will happen is I will receive an email right here with my preview, and I will just share this with you. I hope you can see my screen. So that is forgot your passwords, can remember, and all of the relevant information. And this is what we've done. Need help? Speak with our tech support at obviously the email that you use. So I hope that helps. Kelsey, you're asking, is this option only for super admins? Well, no, it's for anybody who has the permissions to customize the account settings. I'm going to show you. By default, yes, obviously, super admins have all of the permissions in the world, but you can have admins, which, because you see, in the super admins, you cannot edit anything, right? But in the admin, you can go ahead and edit. But you can even just add another user type, which you can call assistant. And you can just go as an administrator under account settings and only allow them to view and update those. And of course, you can add more options or you can remove more options as well. So yes, technically an admin, because this is under the admin permissions, but you can create a custom user type, which you can have with the permissions to view and update the account settings, which of course includes the themes. Let's see what else we have here. Lots of good questions right there. So Christine is asking, when changing branding differently across branches, how you ensure verify that only the branch changed and not the entire site? Brilliant question. So where, first of all, do you create your themes? You're correct. You create them in the main site right here. So first of all, we can go ahead and create a theme or modify an existing one. Let's say I'm going to call it Priority Endeavor. That's the name of one of the branches, maybe. And you don't do anything. You just edit your theme, create it, and save as new, give it a name, make changes. Don't set it as an active because here is your main portal, right? You just need to create the theme. And then when you click on the logo, you go to the homepage, just go to branches, pick which one, the one that we are creating this theme for. And here you can select the theme. So you create the theme in your main portal, you select it per branch. Want to see how it looks like? Quick and easy, which of course you might be a member of the branch, right? So you switch to the branch and you will see that this looks like another world. It has its own logo, its own branded colors. So that's a customized theme for your branch. Let's see what else we have. All right, so let's go back for another question that has to do with emails. And it's a question that comes from Nick. Hope not that Nick right here, because I'm sure he knows the answer. So another
It's
Nick
not me.
probably, I wish it's not you. So another Nick is asking, can I remove the no reply at talentlms.com email from my notifications? So this is the question that comes from the notifications perspective. So remember, when you go to the events engine and you create a notification, right? You can see a sample of those notifications, for instance, this one. And those notifications come from no reply at talentlms.com. So if you remember as well, when I went in and showed you where that notification was, and I'm going to do it again in my preview, that's I told you before for the password reset, you see, it comes to my email from no reply. So we don't want that. It makes sense. You want it to be a fully custom experience. What you have to do is go to the domain name in your main portal, map your custom domain there. For example, your trainingportal.com or anything. And once you map your own domain, you can do it. If you hover on the tooltip there, you can go to the help center and you can see all of the relevant instructions and information you need to update in your CNAME records in your domain provider. So once you do that, then send notifications from your domain. And you can have, let's say, an email that reflects your own domain here. It will still have the M, but it will have your own domain. Of course, your IT person should go through the DNS records and change all of those that need to be changed. And then everything will be sent from your info at yourdomain.com. This is not something that I could do because I'm not the IT, right? And this is something that probably your dedicated IT should do in your company. But yes, the quick answer is yes, you can get rid of the no reply at TalentLMS and have it with something that looks more custom to you. Let's see what else we have. We have more questions about customization. So the question is as well about homepage. Can I change my homepage from an anonymous friend? First of all, what is your homepage? Let me show you. If you go to account settings and homepage, when you invite somebody to be part of your TalentLMS account, what they see, and that's how I preview, is the homepage. They have the login here or the sign up, and they have lots of different interesting ways to promote your content and share a more customized environment so your branding matches your training before even they get into the account. So therefore, to create this, what you can do is you can switch to a custom homepage. So normally, if you haven't touched your homepage section yet, that should be what you're looking for. So click to build your custom homepage, and there you have the option to work with the sections. So all the way down, banner, text, text and media, courses, key points. So here, if I go to add a banner, for instance, I can click on it, and then of course I can upload my banner, and I can start a call to action button here. So click here to learn more. So you can use your homepage as a primitive single page website. So that way you will be able to go ahead and share more information pertinent to the training without having to have another website and then go to TalentLMS. Or you can highlight different key points here. And that's a brilliant way to highlight services that you have or types of training. And again, you can have up to 4 points. And then you can have your generic text that will display above. And for each point, title, icon, and call to action as well. And of course, you can update and give it a try. When you're ready, you can, of course, preview, and then you can publish the homepage, and that's what you will have people to see when you first invite them into your portal to either log in or sign up. There is a question from Caitlin. Can we change the landing page the learner sees after login? Really like the homepage, but they only see it before and they take into the dashboard. Great question, Caitlin. Depends on what you want to change. So if I go to my learner dashboard, for instance, you have the option to display the courses in images with thumbnails, or you can do it with a list. You can choose to display them in different order here based on name, date, status, or whatnot. When you go to the images right there, you have the option as well to pick the categories. And when you're talking about customizing, you can customize the permissions that you have here. So if you don't want, for instance, the calendar to be shown, you can remove this from the user types. So you can customize what they see. You can customize the colors. And remember, those are colors that are reflected in your theme, as we saw before. So this is what you can customize. Now, if you have anything specific that you would like to customize, I'm going to send on the chat here right now our email. That is success@talentlms.com. So what I would invite you to do, please, is send us an email with exactly what you would like to customize, and then we will be able to advise specifically based on that. And let's see another thing as well that we have about customization. There is a question about whether we will be able to just change the images that the courses have as default. So one thing that I need to raise with you is that the default images, when you create a course in TalentLMS, have the TalentLMS logo as you see it here. So yes, you can change that. I'm going to go as an instructor right now and go onto any course. I'm going to go to this one and edit. And Whether you are in the course, you can click on the image and you can upload your own images, or you can go to edit course right there. You can click, you can upload your own image. For example, I can upload this one, and you have the option to use it or crop it and apply, so that will change as well. I'm not going to do it right now because the image of this course was very relevant to it. It was from Talent Library, but yes, you can customize and change your images as well. So let me just now stop sharing because we don't have any relevant questions. I know that Nick is typing in the background. So James, have a look at this one. Will the poll show for you now? So if I go to push the last poll for today, this will give you two options. That will be ILT, instructor-led training sessions. So you can have blended learning with live sessions as well, or should it be assignments where you can ask people to submit an assignment and they can reply by text, by video, by audio, by screen sharing. So there's a lot of different options to evaluate them. It's not just tests. As we go through that, I'm gonna answer James' quick question. Does Talent have a resource of images? That's a great question. So TalentLMS doesn't, but with TalentLMS plus Beta and TalentCraft, you can generate AI images, and there's a library of images there. Let me just very quickly show you, just for a fraction of a second, pretty much, because I mentioned TalentLMS Plus and Crafts. There's no way that I can show you quickly. The poll is still on screen for everybody to use. So quickly, you go to the beta version. I can send you information on how to activate it. That's easy. And then when you go to the courses, and I can go to a course, doesn't matter which one, I can add a TalentCraft unit right here. This is our new way of working with courses and make them interactive and more diverse from separate units. You can start from scratch or you can use a template. Let's say we can start from scratch. And you can generate with AI different types of content, but you can also generate an image. So create an image, you write your prompt here. So I'm going to do cybersecurity and start creating your image. So do we have a library? Not really. Can we create custom images? Yes. Can we go ahead and add an image right here and click on it and then select image? You have a library of images based on what you would like to use as topics. You can have stock images from popular providers. You can create AI images, and then you can also create a library of your images if you upload them to reuse again and again and again. I'm not going to give you more spoilers here for Plus and Craft. We will talk about it in another webinar. But for now, I can pass the mic to Nick, and I can share with you the results right here. And that's, I hope you can see. James, let me know as well. ILT is the winner here. So, Nick, take it away.
Great. So there we go. And we're going to talk about ILTs. Of course, I need once more to share my screen. And now you should be able to see it. Now, just on the back of it, I remember that we had a question from Andrew. And basically, I wrote you in the answer as well. If people vote for ILTs, we're going to discuss them more. Now's the time. So essentially, how do you set up ILTs? And I'm going to actually have a look here because I think somebody asked, it was, let me check for a second. It was Mary, and Mary says, can I integrate with Microsoft Teams? So let's just talk about it a bit. How does this work? When you're setting up your ILTs, these are generally your live events that you can do, your blended learning sessions. And essentially, this is a two-step process to actually set them up. First step, the admin in the account and settings, basic settings, you scroll all the way down, and here's where it says conferences. Here, the admin has to select the tool that they're going to use in order to run these live sessions if we're talking about a web conferencing solution. And you see here, type. I selected Zoom because this is what we're using, but of course, Zoom webinar is available, Microsoft Teams, which was the question. Yes, it is available. Go to meeting, go to webinar, go to training, big blue button. And if you don't have a paid subscription at any of these, there is their integrated option, which is the free version of Big Blue Button. So make sure you make your choice. This choice is going to reflect as an umbrella setting across the whole of your platform. So it's going to affect your branches if you use them as well. And you need to set up as well your maximum capacity. You know this based on your plan. Whatever limit it has to be respected. And then just save it. And that's the admin's job done pretty much. So with the admin having decided the tool that's going to be used by the platform, then it's the turn of the instructor. I'm swapping over to instructor. And now I can actually set up my live events. But before I do that, I need to connect the web conferencing tool that we're going to use with my account in TalentLMS. So the way to do it, conferences. And again, you need to be an instructor. And right here, I have a little arrow. I can click on that, and it tells me to connect with Zoom. Why does it say Zoom again? It says Zoom because this is what I have picked, right? So I can click here. It's going to take me to Zoom, where basically I have to log in. I've already done it, right? But if you hadn't done it, you would need to log into Zoom and basically allow these two to connect, and you would be set. This is something each instructor needs to do if they're going to be the person that runs these live sessions. And of course, once this is completed, then you don't need to do it again unless you change your password in Zoom or a really big update comes along. So now you're ready to create your live sessions. So let's talk about how you create these ILTs. An ILT, as we said, is created by an instructor, and essentially it is a unit within a course. So I could go into any course in here, and I could create a live session. Now, I already have one here. I'm going to delete it and make a new one. And you want to add an ILT here, instructor-led training. You create an ILT. You need to give it a name. Actually, I'm going to call it ILT. I'll save it. And now I've created the big container, which is going to contain the ILT sessions within. And then what you want to do, click again in here to edit, and you can pick on your different dates and times to create these live sessions. Let me look at your questions, because maybe somebody asking something about the next step as well. There. So I see a question from Natalie, and she's saying, can I give options to my learners to register for a session based on their schedule? So let's tie these two together. We created the container, the unit, and now we want to place our live sessions in here. So what we're going to do, we're going to pick, let's say I want an event on Friday. Just going to click in here, select Friday. I want to call it, to give it a name, so I will call it maybe Friday live session. The date is already selected because I picked Friday, but I can change it, and I get to pick my start time. The capacity is something that you can decide. If you have concerns in regards to how many people you can serve or in regards to the plan, always make sure your capacity is below the limits of your plan, right? But if you want to basically create live sessions on a first come, first serve basis, and you want to limit the seats, then you can limit this by setting up a capacity. You can set up who's going to run the sessions. In my case, I'm the instructor here. I see other instructors in the course. I could pick them, but the best practice is always the instructor that will run the session to be the instructor that's going to create it as well. I determine what type of training is going to be. And as you can see, I can pick between classroom and webinar. If you pick a classroom, then you're doing a live session, in person. So maybe you want to become super fancy, put here the location, maybe something like a link from Google Maps to the place that you're going to live the run session to, and you can give it a description. Or if this is something done through conferencing tool, pick webinar, creating a webinar. If you want, you can set a password as well. So in my case, again, I've connected Zoom. So when I click add session, of course, you can set up the duration, right? When I set up the session, then my tool, TalentLMS, is going to go and connect with Zoom because I've connected these two. They talk to each other, and it's going to create a new webinar for me on the date and time in Zoom. So let's say I want this to be 120 minutes. I click on add session, and now I created the session. So this is a question from Christina that follows up to the next thing I'm going to say. Is it possible to add multiple options for ILT? Give them the option to sign up for more than one? Yes. And the way to do it, Christina, is by actually repeating the whole process. And I can actually create a second event on the same day, on another day, same time frame, even if I want on the same day. I'm just going to do it on Sunday. And I'll call it Sunday. And let's say this was not in Zoom, this was like a live event, right? So I'm going to leave it as a classroom event, 1 hour, and I'm going to add it. Now I've created two different live sessions. I can save it. And now when my learners go through the course and they find the ILT part, you're going to see they have 1, 2 options to pick from. And essentially they can pick the one that works for them. Unless this is capped with my capacity, if I use a capacity to actually cap it, then they cannot sign up if they've exceeded the maximum amount of people they can register. But these are two separate options. If I wanted to have one session that is held across 2 different days, I could connect these two. And the way to do it, I would go to the second one, edit it again. And of course, you can do it upon creation. Click on multi-session, and then you choose to link it to another session you have. I only have one. I need a name, so maybe that is a 2-day session, and save it. And so what happens now, when a learner reaches my LT and they have to sign up, they're going to sign up for both sessions at once. And here's how you can do it. So I see a follow-up from Christina here. Can they sign up for both? No, they cannot, unless you set it up like I did. The way I did it now, because I connected them, if they sign up for one, they sign up for both. If I give them alternatives, no matter how many alternatives I give them, they have to pick one of all the alternatives. But nobody's stopping you from going in here and basically adding a second ILT container where you have more sessions. So once they're done with the first one, they make their choice and this session is held. Then they move on to the next one and they pick one from the available there. I see a question from Steve. Is the live session attendance recorded in TalentLMS, as in who attended the live session? Yes, for the live sessions, it is recorded, but something that we have seen, because obviously the live sessions are held in a different conferencing tool, right? So you have your live sessions in Zoom or in Microsoft Teams, GoToWebinar, whatever tool you're using. So although TalentLMS will know if a learner was connected in TalentLMS and from there they actually went and accessed the webinar, it does not know how long they stayed there for. Did they log in from TalentLMS? Nice, they did. Okay, so the system will know that. Did they become bored and leave after 5 minutes? Did they leave their camera open and they were just snoring in front of the camera? We do not know. So yes, you can find if they log in from TalentLMS to do that. But I want you always to keep in mind that there is the possibility that they log in through TalentLMS, but because it's held in a completely different tool, you do not know how long they stayed. So probably you want to get a report at the end of your Zoom session, probably, or Teams, get a report from there with your attendance, just to double check it against TalentLMS, because the data is going to be for sure superior in that regard. I hope it makes sense. Yes, Michelle, it's exactly, Michaela, sorry, it's exactly what you're saying. Will this create a Zoom meeting for my learners? Yes, it will create a Zoom meeting. Reminders will be sent through TalentLMS. If you set them up, you have the ability to create notifications, which you can do as an admin. So as an admin, I can go to my events engine, add notification. You can give it a name, and in the event, you can search for ILT. If I could type it there. And you see, you can create an event when people register for ILTs or before it starts. So you can create specific notifications that will go out. But this is the idea. You create the ILT. If it's in a tool, it will be created also in the tool, so you can see your tool calendar. And once a learner actually accepts that, then they will be able to go and join as normally. Let's see. Another question from Michael as well. We tested this out and it was appearing the instructor Zoom calendar and not the learners. Yes, that makes sense. The reason for that is because when you create the session, basically, you create a Zoom call in the same way, for example, that we created the webinar here today, right? And of course, all of you are invited, but it doesn't mean that everybody is going to join or their calendars are going to be clogged. So essentially, my learner has to pick the dates and times they want to be able to reach the call happening to them. And essentially, when the time is right and when you set up your notification, they're going to receive an email where you can put the link of, the web address of the Zoom that you're going to have, the location, and they can actually join like that. A very last question on this topic, I think, unless you have more, please go on. I see a question here that said, I understand. It's from an anonymous attendee. And they say, I understand this, but how can I track the attendance of my learners for an on-site event? This is quite interesting. So we set up that if you do it remotely, you can see if they join from TalentLMS, or you can get reporting from your own tool. But what about the actual physical sessions? If you're having a physical session, then what you can do, you can go to your users and let's actually add some people to this, because obviously I don't have any real person now signing up. And we are going to see that if this was a session that is happening live, I need some way to track attendance. You could actually print out the attendance sheet. Just click on that, and it's going to show me here my details. And you're going to see it is a today session, right? So I have one on Friday and the other one on Sunday. I see all the people that are signed up, their names, their emails, the date it's going to take place, the time, the instructor. It's online, but again, if it was physical, I would have the web address here. And I can pass this around. I can physically print it, pass it around, have people sign this. And basically, once they sign it, I know they actually attended. So I don't know if we have any more questions, Theo, in regards to that.
Well, that's a good question. And I think there is a last question from Kara, right? If you use the free integrated webinar platform, how do you access the webinar as an instructor and learner? I think that there is quite a few resources for that that we can share, because we are both, Nick and me, integrated with Zoom. So at this point, we're not in a position to show you exactly step by step what the native integration entails, but fear not, I have your email from the registration, obviously, and I can send you resources about how you can go about that. So stay tuned. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go and follow up with you with the recording, so I don't send you two separate emails. So with that said, let me share my screen and share with you how you can get in touch with us. Of course, you are more than welcome to send us questions, and that is at success@talentlms.com. That is our dedicated email address. And we are here to answer any questions whatsoever about Talent LMS, about the topics we covered today, or you don't have to stay with those. These were the topics for the session, right? Anything else you want, any questions, any requests, if you want to bring your use case to us by email, and we can give you an opinion, we can give you advice, tips, absolutely, we are here to help. And also, we have a question for you. How was a webinar? So we're going to send to you a survey, and that survey will be now on the chat. And yes, you will see it as well when you close your window. And we want to know what your feedback is, because we want to create webinars that you enjoy watching. So fill in the survey, please, and we are here to bring you more sessions based on what you would like to see. And of course, talking about more sessions, we have a dedicated website for that. That is talentlms.com/webinars. So you guess it right. I'm going to pop it on the chat as well. And you're more than welcome to see what's coming, and of course, any past sessions as well. Nick, thank you so much for sharing your expertise today.
Thanks a lot as well, Theo, for being here. And a big thank you to all the people, right?
Absolutely. Big thanks to everybody, because otherwise we would be just me and Nick in a meeting room staring at each other. So thank you so much for joining. And we really hope to receive your feedback, receive your questions in our email, and of course, see you in the next session. Till then, happy training, everyone.